Hey guys, so this is going to be part 2 in my series on my cube collection, and the last video was talking about 2x2s. This video is going to be talking about 3x3s. Now, I have the most 3x3s out of any kind of puzzle in my collection, I believe. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 here, and I know I've got a few others that I can't seem to find that I will get to in a second. So, we're going to start with the, sorry about that, we're going to start with the dollar store cubes. I have, I think, 11 of these. I found them at the dollar store, and I bought a whole bunch because they were $1 each, and I was planning on working on some prototypes for mods using dollar store cubes, because if I screw it up on the first try, it's just a dollar store cube. The interesting thing about these is if you look at the colors, let me see if I can catch the light, you see how they have those weird spirals? Every side has those. But the neat thing about that is that makes it a super cube, because that center's orientation matters. So that's an interesting addition to solving it. One other thing is that the sides can be kind of hard to tell apart sometimes. So this one is gold, this color is gold, this color is silver. It's almost impossible to tell those apart. The red and the orange are a little bit difficult, but you can still tell which is which. But that's one problem with them. Another, but this one I did take apart. I sanded all the layers down so there'd be less friction, and I lubricated it. And it's actually not bad. Out of the box one like this one is really hard to turn. There's a very dry scraping sound. It requires a lot of force. This one, you can basically finger trick. It still has little to no corner cutting. I mean, even just a little tiny misalignment is just about all it can do. But it lubricates up, and it's pretty smooth, so I just thought that was pretty interesting. Alright, and then I've got these two picture cubes here. My girlfriend got these for me when she was driving across the country. This one she got at Mount Rushmore, so it says Mount Rushmore. It has a picture of Lincoln, a picture of Washington, a picture of Teddy Roosevelt, a picture of Mount Rushmore, and a picture of Thomas Jefferson, I believe. But it is a super cube. The quality's not that bad. It turns okay. It has a little bit of a clicky feel, and it can't cut corners, but it feels reasonably well had together. I have solved it a few times. And this one she got me at Wall Drug, which is a store, I believe, in, South Dakota? Idaho? I think it's Idaho. I'm trying to see if it says on here. Anyway, but it says Badlands, South Dakota. It has picture of some prairie dogs, picture of a jackalope, picture of Mount Rushmore, a sign that says free ice water at Wall Drug, and then a picture of the actual drugstore. This one's very loose and tends to lock up. I have gotten this solved a couple times, but it always feels like it's going to break, so I haven't solved it much since then. But those are just nice showpieces. And speaking of showpieces, this was my Christmas present this past year. It is the Rubik's Cube 30th Anniversary Edition. It is a wooden cube with translucent colored stickers on 5 of the sides. So, on the white side there's no sticker. You can actually see the wood grain. But on the colored sides, the colors are translucent, so you can still see the wood grain through them. So that's pretty neat. The colors are sort of bright. Sometimes it's hard to tell the yellow from the white. See, this one's white, this one's yellow. It's not bad. And I feel like the red and the orange might be hard to tell too. Maybe not. But it is a standard size. It is a Rubik's Cube. I have taken it apart. The core is plastic, but all the pieces are wood, or they might have wooden or plastic internals with wood on the outside. I'm not sure. It doesn't feel like it wants to come apart. Because it's wood on wood, there's a lot of friction. You're definitely not going to be speed solving this cube. It's something nice and pretty to have on your shelf to show off. But I think it's really neat. It's also a very heavy puzzle. Yeah, I wonder if you could lubricate it and start solving it. I'm not sure. So next up, my first real 3x3 that I bought. This is a Rubik's brand 3x3. I've had this cube for almost 2 years, and I've got to say, the stickers have held up remarkably well. They're wearing on the edges there, and the reflective clear outer layer on the front is peeling off on some of them, but they're not doing too bad. As far as this cube goes, though, it's got 2 years of being broken in, and I did originally have it lubricated with Vaseline, so that helped a lot. So it's really fast. And it can cut corners reasonably well for a Rubik's brand cube. It can cut about, oh man, it can cut almost a full cubie. Yeah, see that? That's crazy. I didn't know it could cut that well. Yeah, it's very smooth. It's very fast. It's really not a bad cube now that I've got it broken in. I really like it actually. I've also got my what is this? My ShengShou 3x3. This is awesome. It's very light. It's very snappy and springy. It can cut a whole cubie without much problem. It can't really reverse cut at all. But it's very light, very fast, very easy to turn, very smooth. It's a fantastic 3x3. Next up, I've got my Diane set. This is my Diane Tyan. This is the first Diane cube they made. And if you want to see, this is when they were still using single-piece construction. If you know the Guhong and after, they started using the molded, or the two pieces that I'll show you in a second. It's got a little bit of a bumpy feel. I'm sure some lubrication would help. But it's very light and very fast, and it's easy to see how this cube could have started Diane's popularity, and which only then grew with cubes like the Guhong. Now what I was talking about before is this Guhong, I don't know if you can see the line, is two pieces. So you can actually pull it apart, and they're the two pieces, and they snap together at some point, and then they go back in the cube. And that's how the edges are too, they're just three pieces. This one, even better than the tie-in. It's very light, it's very fast, it cuts corners like a boss, and it can reverse cut. Not that much, but it can. Yeah, it's a really, really fantastic, really light cube. I'm really excited to lubricate this one and tension it up a little bit and see if I can make it even better, but it's already a great cube. And then I also have a stickerless Diane Guhong. Now this one, the plastic itself is colored instead of having stickers, so the stickers won't fade. There's no stickers to fade and wear, so it always looks brand new right out of the box. And again, you know, it's the same puzzle as the last one. It's Diane Guhong, so it's fantastic. This one reverse cuts a little bit better than the other one, though. And I have heard that the stickerless puzzles, the plastic is a little bit smoother. I haven't really tested that out. Right now, this one, though, it does feel a little, like it has a little more friction, so I'm not sure what that's about, but I really, really like it. Here I've got a YJ 3x3. Now this puzzle started off extremely light. It feels like you're holding a paper. Like, it does not feel like it's actually a solid cube. It also turns just as lightly. However, I lubricated it with Vaseline, and now it's gunky. The Vaseline has slowed it down. It's very gunky. So I need to clean it out, and hopefully I can get it back to its old lightness, because it's, it was a very light, very good cube. The stickers are great. They have not faded or even really started to peel or chip at all. They have a nice matte finish. They're very textured, but the colors are good. I mean, I really like that a lot. They're great stickers. The only problem is I feel like the edges of that centerpiece there, those corners down there, are a little too sharp, and so I feel like the internal parts of the pieces can get caught on those sometimes, and it can lock up a little bit. Like that. It's all locked up and askew. So I thought about shaving those down to see if that'll help, but I need to get the Vaseline out because this is gunky right now. But it's really not a bad cube. Also by YJ, I have their little Fin Hop, which is a smaller 3x3 cube, and it's designed for speed cubing. If you look at the centers, it's got the same gaps in between the corner pieces as the Diane cubes do, so it can reverse corner cut a bit. Not much though. I'm not sure what those gaps on the sides, on the edges of the centerpiece are. I guess so that you can just get in there and pop the cap off easier so you can adjust the tensions. It's a very good cube. It feels very held together, but it's very light and very easy to turn. It can cut corners pretty well, almost to a full cubie. Yeah, it's very fast. It'd be great for one-handed solving because it's so small. But overall, it's not that remarkable. I mean, it's a fast cube. It's one of the faster ones I have, but I don't know. It's just not, there's nothing really special to say about it. I've got a Lan brand 3x3 here, And this cube is interesting. It's a very simple construction. It basically uses the same kind of pieces as a regular Rubik's Cube. It's very straightforward. But it's pretty sweet. I have tensioned it a little bit and lubricated it, and it's pretty fast. It can cut corners pretty well. Almost a full cubie. But it's also very stable, very structurally sound. I would not hesitate giving this to a little kid or a non-cuber. I would not be afraid they would break it at all. So it's all around, it's a pretty good cube. In fact, there have been times where I've set my personal best on this cube. So that's pretty surprising. But yeah, it's pretty sweet. I also have my Sheng-En F2. For a while, this was my main cube. It's super light, super easy to turn. It cuts corners like a boss. Almost a full QB again. But it requires so little force to turn that it's just really easy to start solving really fast on this thing. It's very smooth. It doesn't lock up. There's two downsides of this puzzle though. A, the stickers are awful. If you look, they are just so scratched up. Look at the green side. They're awful. And because the pieces are so curved, the stickers are a little bit smaller than normal stickers. I don't know if you can put normal ones on here or not, but the pieces are sort of bubbly almost, and so they have smaller stickers. So I don't know if I think I can get those from CubeSmith, but I'm not sure. But the stickers are just awful, the ones that come on here. And secondly, it pops all the time. Like every solve almost, it pops. So if you can tension it a little bit tighter and maybe lubricate it so that it still is as light and easy but it won't pop as much, this would be a great cube. I've also got my V Cube 3. Now I did get this one in pillowed. It was all they had at the time. I do like it pillowed, but I do want a cubic one. This one's a great cube. It's very easy to turn, very light, very fast, but it doesn't overturn. It can cut corners really well, right at a full cubie without much problem. Maybe even not much more than a cubie though, right at a full cubie. It can't really reverse cut, but yeah, it's a pretty good cube. The only downside is that it's pillowed, so it's a little hard to grab onto. But and the V Cube stickers are as usual really bright. I've got to hurry this up. My computer's about to die. Well, actually, hold on a second. I was trying to not have to get up and plug it in during the video, but I figured that was better than it dying, so I just plugged it in, so we're good. So this little guy is a mini QJ 3x3. Here's the size of a normal cube for comparison, so it's quite a bit smaller than a normal cube. It is smaller than a fin hop too. The YJ fin hop isn't quite as small as it. So the YJ fin hop is probably about in between a normal cube and a mini cube in terms of size. Oh, that's another thing. On the V Cube 3, the size is just about a normal cube. It's like they started with a normal cube and then pillowed it down. But yeah, this guy is really, really fast actually. Like it's really light, really easy to turn, and it can cut corners pretty well. But one thing about this puzzle, it just seems very forgiving. Like you can be really sloppy with your turns, you can be fast and not really trying to be exact, and it'll still be awesome. I've gotten some of my best times on these. I have 3 of them, but I used 2 for a project, so I've only got 1 that's a normal 3x3 right now. It's very small. It would be good for one-handed solving. But yeah, it's a pretty sweet cube, all in all. Lastly, I've got these mini cubes. Now this little cube was in a little candy type machine where you put the quarter in and it comes out in a little ball. One of my friends got it for me. It's pretty unremarkable. The color scheme's weird. The stickers are awful, and it doesn't turn very good. But it's neat having such a small puzzle. I've got one that's the exact same size that one of my other friends found at his dentist's office, but it's really interesting. It's got SpongeBob on one side, and then characters, and then there's Mr. Crab, Gary, Squidward, Sandy, and Patrick. So that's neat. It is a picture cube, so that's fun, but it also is very hard to turn. And then I have these 2 little guys. Now, these are Meru mini cubes. When I ordered them, I thought they were going to be the same size as the QJ mini cube. However, they are about little more than half the size of a QJ mini cube. These are tiny. Here's a normal 3x3 to show you. They're half the size of a normal 3x3, or each side length is half the size, so they're really, I guess, 1/8 the size of a normal 3x3. But they're really fun, and that's the same size as these other 2 cubes I just showed you. But so I have this one, which is translucent red, and then this one, which is translucent, but it's also glow in the dark. And it does glow in the dark. You can even solve it in the dark because the stickers are translucent enough that they glow through them. You can tell if you look really close. This is the orange side. This is the red side. But yeah, these turn really, really well for such small puzzles, and I'm just really impressed with them. I like them a lot. They're a lot of fun. Alright, so that's my 3x3s. Thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.